Hey folks, Truby here. As promised, we got Orks vs. Space Wolves, take 2. Last time, the Space Wolves kind of dominated the Orks, but the Orks are better than that. They can do this. So, let's get right to it. So, Orks lost last time, so they'll go first. The only major change that Orks have made is they changed Warbikers. Previously they were using Warbiker, I forget the subtitle, but it was the one that made it that your sidekicks don't take damage. I think it's the first point of damage they take is ignored. That or they ignore range damage, I can't remember which. But they changed to having now the Warbiker Zog Off, which prevents all range damage. So when the Space Wolves have that Venerable Dreadnought, that's a definite must-have. I should correct. The Warbiker prevents all range damage from to the Orks, so the sidekicks can still get knocked out. But yeah, Orks starting off went straight for Instant War, which allows sidekicks. Basically, both players field pull 3 dice from their bag and field all sidekicks. It's actually a pretty handy little pretty handy little card. And the nice thing for Orks is it gives extra targets that can easily pop off. But yeah, here Orks go straight for the Warbiker with an extra energy just sort of floating. And of course, Space Wolves went straight for the Venerable Dreadnought to give all of their dice range. But yeah, ate the Orks alive last time. So basically, the Orks are going to have a turn or two to try to desperately try to get out that Warbiker as quickly as possible. It looks Grey Wolves or the Space Wolves. Their second round went with the Thunderwolf Cavalry, which gets +1/+1 for each other Space Wolf each character. So they can get pretty big for just a 4 cost. That's not too bad. Orks, they missed the Warbiker first time. So, no Warbiker, got 5 energy. Where do you go? Looks like end up getting the Ork Boy, but I think that was actually a misplay because I did not have the proper energy to buy that Ork Boy. Because the Ork Boy is a fist. So yes, shame on me. But, I mean, I would have gotten the Ork Knob instead, so not a big difference there. And then I think I bought a second Warbiker. Make sure I get that Warbiker out. It's the main thing that's going to keep me alive. But the Space Wolves, Venerable Dreadnought's already out there, so yeah, they're already looking pretty. And for the Orks, always good to thin your bag. If you get a roll like that and you do have something you can buy, go for it. This fielding those 2 sidekicks, I'll get another Ork Boy, and then that's 2 less dice I might draw, and I'm more likely to get to that the Warbiker much faster. So yeah, now the last game we didn't really see the Wolfguard Terminator much, but yeah, he's a pretty nasty little guy with Infiltrate and doesn't take more than 1 damage from any source, so he's hard to get off the field. And then you give him range with the Venerable Dreadnought, just attack with him over and over and over. It's really, really effective. So we got big energy here, but I just end up going for the Battle Wagon. Well, I'm going to rebudget a little bit, so I'll get the Battle Wagon, spin one of those down, and then I'll get the Ork Knob. So there, it sort of balances out what the mistake I made earlier. Because I could have bought an Ork Boy there, but I was out of Ork Boys. Now, thinking ahead, the Space Wolves probably should have been going for some way of removing Ork boys, or not the Ork boys, the War Bikers, to make sure they got off the field so they could get their range damage still. But instead, ends up doubling down on the Venerable Dreadnought to make sure he stays out. A better buy there would have been some sort of removal, which the Excessive Ordnance or Rolling Thunder could have potentially done it. Excessive Ordnance, I think, is a 5. Is a 4 cost. Yeah, there we go. Rolling Thunder is a 5. So yeah, the Excessive Ordnance would have been the better buy there than getting the second Venerable Dreadnought. And meanwhile, the Orks are starting to dive into their range stuff. So they got the Battle Wagon, and now they got a Storm Boys. So they are Storm Boys have range 2 and pay a bolt and give sling range. So it's a pretty great. Now let's see here. Here we see that the Space Wolves are building up. They got all that going through. So the Thunderwolf Cavalry is a +2, so I think it's going to be 5 damage from that. And Wolfguard Terminator is going to infiltrate, so I will just take 1 from that rather than dealing with full damage. And there we go. Yeah, range just decimating my blockers, not letting me chump block those big guys. So yeah, I'm rolling both Warbikers here, so hopefully I'll get at least 1 out. And there's a Warbiker. And we also get an Ork Boy, which is nice. So the Ork Boy, it's a great chump blocker, because as long as you have another Ork, whenever it gets knocked out, it comes right back at level 1. It's sort of like Alfred from the Batman set, or no, the World's Finest set, sorry, where he almost always comes back after knocked out, which is always very handy. So with that 4, I end up buying a Instant War. So another wave, basically ramping. The Instant War lets you prep 2 dice, and if they're both sidekicks, you prep another die. And on a burst or double burst, you get to roll everything that you just prepped, which is very handy. So yeah, just trying to get my churn going, trying to get stuff fielded with the 2 Orks now that are going to be immune to range damage. They're going to be my blockers. Ork Boy will stay out there no matter what. So all that range damage being done by the Space Wolves here just goes to the sidekick. The Orks take none of it. And then it's my decision if I want to block anything or not. So I'm only going to block one of them, because I want to make sure my Warbiker stays out. So they will go ahead and KO each other. The Ork Boy will come back. And yeah, I took 1 from the infiltrate off of the Wolfguard Terminator. I'm sorry, I'm not keeping up with the life totals here. I'm using my little digital thing there, and I forgot to update the score tally on the bottom. So with 2 Ork Boys out now as a nice wall to hopefully prevent any damage from getting through, I went ahead and went for Mugrock, who gives all, I think it's all or all other Orks +1/+1. So he's going to be giving my guys a little boost, so my Ork Boys will be a little more deadly when things come in and they block them, so not just going to be completely chump blocks. They'll actually be able to take some stuff out with them. It also gives my Warbikers a little bit more defense, so hopefully they can hang on and take out this Space Wolves onslaught. And once again, yeah, the Space Wolves should really be buying some removal. But of course, you see that big 6 energy, and you're like, ooh, 6 energy. Let's buy the big tank. So, Space Wolves, I get the Space Wolf Predator. The thing about the Space Wolf Predator, though, it actually does help get some of those basic actions. Potentially getting them for just 1. So it's not a bad purchase there. You had the big energy, so why not go ahead and go for it? But yeah, the removal would have been again a better buy here. Yeah, so I definitely want to get out that the battle wagon, because once again, another ramp tool, churn through the stuff, always good. So we field the battle wagon. I believe that yeah, that's going to be instant war. So both players draw 3 dice and field any sidekicks. But any non-sidekicks can either go in the bag or use pile. So the Orks get 3 sidekicks. And then the Space Wolves only 1 sidekick. Another nice thing about Instant War there is, if you know your opponent only has like 1 or 2 dice in bag, and the dice in bag are non-sidekicks, like they've got a, as we saw just right there, they had Logan Grimnar and what was the other one? I think it was the Space Wolf Predator. I made him fill his bag with all those sidekicks and then draw again. So, because obviously he wanted to keep those characters, so he put those back in the bag. But here we're going to see the Space Wolf Predator do its thing. Unfortunately, it costs 1 to activate its ability, so that keeps me from actually buying anything else here, because he has the heavy 2 fielding cost. Meanwhile, the Orks are building up quite a wall across the way, which is dangerous. Alright, so to field the Space Wolf Predator and spend 1 to try to do, I think that's, I forget which one that is. I think that's Rolling Thunder, but it came up energy, so the ability failed and the die goes back to Rolling Thunder. It was not successfully purchased. But here's one of those things where it's tough to attack now into the Orks, because they have some range set up. They're going to get ramp when they get things knocked out with range, and the range from the Space Wolves is only going to knock out those sidekicks. So it's not super advantageous for them to be attacking into this right now. They've got big defense with the 2 Venerable Dreadnoughts and the Space Wolf Predator, so those 2 are going to hold out to any range attack by the Orks. So you're almost better off just trying to hold your ground and see what the next couple draws bring you. So we're using the Storm Boys to give our sidekicks range. That gives a character range, so I believe that is going to mean each sidekick now has range 1, because that is the character, not the character die. But regardless, I'm only able to deal 4 range damage. So I take out the Wolfguard Terminator with 1 range damage from each sidekick, and then take out 2 sidekicks. So 3 things were knocked out. I prep 3 dice, I also used into battle there. So yeah, we've got a pretty big prep area for the Orcs' next roll. Yeah, Orcs next might be getting Stompa. It's a 9 cost. There's enough energy there for it. Meanwhile, the Thunderwolf cavalry, and the Space Wolves there, yeah, need to figure out what they're going to do here. Oh yes, we misplay last turn. The Orcs attacked, but the Space Wolves didn't get their range. Only the I misplayed knowing the Orcs did their range damage, but the Space Wolves should have also gotten their range damage. The only things they could have done range damage to was the sidekicks, so we just took out those sidekicks. Alright, so the Thunderwolf Cavalry is back out, currently at a +2/+2. And looks like we bought the Logan Grimnar, who has Overcrush. They're trying to get through, attack with those, deal some range damage to whittle down the defense. Or actually, no, we can't because the Orcs remove any damage. So we attack to test the walls of the Orcs, and we forget. Oh yeah, the Orc boys get knocked out, and they just come right back. It's a big roll, lots of energy. But looks like, looks like Stompa is not in the cards. There's a lot of energy, but there's also a lot of character faces, a lot of good character faces. Especially with the range getting set up, having the Orc knobs out is very good because those Orc knobs get +1/+2 for everything that's knocked out. So you attack, range happens, you deal damage, KO a few things, and for each die that's KO'd, including your own, the Orc knob's going to get +1/+2. So that's pretty fantastic. They're going to be really hard to KO. They're going to get really big, and that's one of those things where with the Orcs, that's why I want 2 team packs, because that I'm going to be playing 4 of those. So they're really nice. So we got our first Storm Boys out. We got I forget his name, Mogrock out, who is gives all of our Orcs +1/+1, and then we've got a bunch of energy, extra energy still. Looks like 6 energy that we can still buy stuff with. We're counting out how much range damage we can do, see whether it's worth it to try to attack. I don't think it is yet. But the Orcs are getting pretty imposing over there. Yep, let's go for a second Storm Boys. Try to get some even more range damage in there. So I give the sidekick range, and I attack with a sidekick to trigger range. So the Space Wolves will, of course, deal their range damage to that sidekick, because it's the only thing they can deal. And the Orcs will get 2, 3, 4, I think 5 range damage total, because I think Mogrock gives +1/+1 and also has range. So I'll take out one of the Venerable Dreadnoughts. One less blocker. It's and something my opponent's got to pay to field. So try to whittle down that wall so I can get through for lethal. And there we go. We miss Venerable Dreadnought in the first roll, Yeah, no Venerable Dreadnought coming back, and we also miss Logan Grimnar. So we end up buying another Wolfguard Terminator and also another of our Grey Hunters. I guess we're trying to just build up characters, try to build up a wall, when once again, really probably should have been buying removal to try to get that Warbiker off the field. Of course, at this point, Orks have so much built up that even if the Warbiker was taken off the field, it would still be bad news for the Space Wolves. So there's just a lot to take on there. So instant war again. Or no, I'm sorry, that was into battle. So we prep 2 dice. The big debate, to attack or not to attack. Opponent's in bad shape, so we'll just send the Storm Boys, deal some range damage. We'll take out the Thunderwolf Cavalry because their defensive's lowered enough by only having the 2 available out there. The 2 extra guys giving them +2/+2, but still went right into that mighty Space Wolf Predator tank. It's more than enough to take out the Storm Boys. Oof, yeah, that's a bad pull for the Space Wolves. They really need to get some more blockers out, which of course, having 2 sidekicks isn't bad, but we've got all sorts of range coming at them, so the sidekicks aren't going to do enough. So here come the Orks again, rolling 2 Storm Boys, another Warbiker, and an Ork Knob. That's the thing with both the Battle Wagon and I'm forgetting what it is on the Ultramarines, but the thing that lets you the Primarius Aggressor, that's what it is. That lets you prep a die every time something's knocked out by range. It helps so much. It's really great. And yeah, looking at what we just rolled here, that's some pretty nasty amount of characters coming out. I think we were thinking about re-rolling that other Storm Boys, but I think we decided probably better to keep that energy. So we spend 2, field everything. We've got instant war there, so both players draw 3. And here's the thing, I have the Orks have both of their Ork Knobs out, so that's going to be a whole bunch of sidekicks being taken out by range damage here. And when that happens, for each one knocked out, the Ork Knobs are going to get +1/+2. So the Space Wolves only get 1 more. I assume that we'll probably spend one of those bolts either... Actually, no, probably save it for... because I think we've got enough to knock out the sidekicks without having to give anything range. Probably save that for the Excessive Ordnance Global to make sure this is very likely lethal. Because you got to remember we also have Mugrock here giving all the other Orks +1/+1. I do give something range, it looks like. Yep, the sidekicks have range. So we take out their 3 sidekicks. The only thing they can target of ours is our 3 sidekicks. that gives the Ork knobs +6, +12. So they are not getting knocked out. Then all the other guys, and they also have another +1/+1 from Mogrock. So obviously the two big guys are going to have to be blocked by the Space Wolves, whatever blockers. And then we're looking at trying to make out the character faces on there. I think it's at least 5 damage from the Storm Boys. I think it's another 5 or 6 from the Mogrock. They'll block the two. The two Ork knobs get blocked, and probably the Battle Wagon, I guess, is the other one. Yeah, the Battle Wagon's the other one blocked. So that's at least 10 damage from the two up top. Plus we got the Warbikers, which are both at 4/4, or at least 4 damage from both of those. So that's another 8. And then at least another, I think, 4 from the Ork Boys. So yeah, that's definitely lethal. Throw another on top. I think that's 22 damage total. The Orks getting their revenge. All right, let's get back to me. Hey. So there we have it. Orks. Warg! They get their revenge. I really like the Orks. I think they're a lot of fun. Granted, yes, once again here, the Space Wolves could have been played a little better. They needed to get that that removal in there to take down the Warbikers. I'm gonna get these names down eventually. But yeah, those Warbikers were definitely a huge pain for range. The big thing is protect those. Yeah, so great matchup. It was just basically a race. We actually I played another game later on after this recording with Melissa, trying the same thing. Her being the Space Wolves, me being the Orks again. Same teams, using that the Warbiker, and I just couldn't roll the damn thing. I missed the Warbiker roll like 4 times in a row, and Space Wolves still crushed me. So yeah, if without that Warbiker, they just get decimated. Warbiker saves the day. But yeah, that's it for this time. We'll mix things up a little bit more for the next video. I don't know which teams will want to face off. Let me know. There's comments here. What would you like to see next? Want me to mix up the teams? Want me to put up something against a meta team? See how it hangs against Yuan-ti Pureblood? Or some other classic team? Try it against a Polyhulk team? What do you want to see? Otherwise, might just do maybe Chaos versus Space Wolves. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But until next time, see you guys later.